Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I want to go over how to effectively use the Bench Blokz and share some practical tips so you can get the best out of this training tool. So let's get into it. Just a quick overview. The Bench Blokz simply allows you to replicate the traditional board presses, which rather than having to rely on separate board heights and a spotter, you can simply attach the Bench Blokz to the barbell and effectively get the same results, particularly when training by yourself. This Bench Blokz allows you to adjust to a 2, 3, 4 and 5 board heights, allowing you to hit 4 different ranges of the bench, making it a neat little compact training tool. Of course, board presses are beneficial in 2 main ways. Firstly, by focusing on targeting a weak spot within the range of your bench press, and secondly, it can be used as an overload effect, such as utilising the 4 or 5 board to help you teach your body to become accustomed to using heavier weights. Now, how to use the Bench Blokz is pretty simple in terms of setup. You firstly identify what board height you want to work within, find that height on the board, then simply attach it to the barbell. Placing it on the barbell, firstly, you want to make sure the longer part of the Bench Blokz, like here where I'm demonstrating with the 3 board option, is pointing towards the feet end, which will allow for a more comfortable touch on the chest at the bottom of the lift. I simply mark it in place to where I want it, so I center it up with the barbell. I swing it around and then firmly push the Bench Blokz onto the barbell. I give it a couple of knocks so it's tightly on there. Then I swing it around, again putting it into place, and that's it, pretty easy. From this point, before you begin to use the Bench Blokz, there is one important tip I want to share that will make the execution more proficient. With traditional board presses, when the spotter places the board on the chest, the board should not be placed flat on the chest. In fact, the proper setup has your spotter slightly angling the board on your chest. This allows for a more secure, stronger touch at the bottom, allowing for a more efficient transition into the positive. So with that in mind, when utilising the Bench Blokz, to mirror the angled board effect, we want to set up the barbell by rolling it into place, which allows the Bench Blokz to move into the same angle you would achieve using the traditional boards, to help to create the same secure effect when we approach the touch at the bottom. By rotating the Bench Blokz into the appropriate angle position before you unrack the weight, this will place the Bench Blokz into the right position for each rep you conduct for that set. This proper setup will be the difference between a correct execution and a poor execution, which will determine the effectiveness of utilising the board method. So it's very important to get this setup right to be able to get the most out of the board presses. As an added bonus, when concentrating on the proper setup with the angled Bench Blokz at the start, it actually helps teach you to be strict on the lift by dialing in on the initial first step of unracking the weight, which is a key part that is fundamentally ignored quite often by many lifters. This will help boost your attention to detail on your lift-off. Now, there are many different methods in terms of how to utilise board presses, but from my personal experience, there are 2 that have helped with maximising my bench press gains. Firstly, the 1 to 2 second pause at the bottom. Put simply, you execute a normal bench press, but at the bottom, you want to have the Bench Blokz touch the chest lightly and hold for 1 to 2 seconds, keeping tension high. Then you transition into the positive, finishing strong. The key here is to focus on maximising tension on the pause, developing strength in that position utilising the weight you are using. The second method consists of no pause, but focuses on bringing the Bench Blokz down to the chest and aiming to, as lightly as possible, touch the chest, then transition explosively into the positive. Again, the focus here is on maximising tension at the bottom by training ourselves to concentrate at the bottom position, developing our strength at the position on the bench press to enable us to start dominating the weight we are using to help transfer later onto the full range lift. Now, both these methods are equally beneficial, whether you're focusing on hitting a weak point or focusing on the overload effect, the positive carryover will be the same. My only advice is to try them both and work out for yourself which ones work best for you. Personally, mixing up between the two I have found to work best for me, just to keep interest, motivation high, while helping to bring a slight difference in stimulus, while working in the same movement, which helps with the overall carryover. Just an added safety footnote, when utilising the bench blocks, as one of the benefits is being able to gain the same benefits of traditional board presses while training alone, if training solo, make sure you conduct bench blocks presses with safety pins in place, particularly when utilising the overload effect. When using heavier weights, you want to make sure all safety measures are in place so you minimise any potential injuries while helping you maintain a peace of mind when executing using heavier weights, allowing you to focus on perfect technique rather than having to worry about being sidetracked. That's pretty much the basics on how to use the bench blocks from my experience. If you're interested in checking them out, I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below so you can take a closer look. If you could give this video a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to leave a comment below. And until next time, take care.